morning to all of you. Today we are going to present how to file the individual income tax return using the Inland Revenue e-service. In order to do the individual return e-filing, first of all, taxpayer should have a PIN number, and taxpayer has to register for the individual income tax for year of assessment 2020 and 21, and taxpayer has to have a PIN number to enter the Inland Revenue e-service. Those are the basic requirements to start the e-filing. Before going to the further details, it is better to go through the manual in paper return. What is the format of the individual income tax return for year of assessment 2021? You can see the screen. Basically, this 2021 individual income tax return contains three parts. The first part of the return is the main return. Now you can see the main return in the screen. Main return, what the taxpayer has to declare under the main return, taxpayer has to declare the income, assessable income earned from the four different sources, and then taxpayer has to calculate the assessable income. Thereafter, taxpayer has to declare what are the relief and qualifying payment that particular taxpayer entitled to deduct against the assessable income. And based on the relief and qualifying payment, taxpayer has to declare the taxable income. The part C of the main return, it is for the calculation of payable tax. Based on the taxable income, taxpayer has to declare what is the tax payable amount, and thereafter taxpayer has to declare the tax credit. And finally, if particular taxpayer do have exempt income, that exempt income has to be declared under the part D of the main return. And when you go through the paper return, thereafter you can see the declaration part. The authorized accountant or the and the taxpayer details has to be filled in the declaration part. In addition to this main return, taxpayers has to fill and submit the schedules. Okay, let's move to the schedule part. Basically, there are 10 schedules attached to the individual income tax return for year of assessment 2021. If you go through those schedules, the first schedule is allocated for the employment income. If the taxpayer do have employment income, such detail has to be declared under Schedule 1. Basically, there are two tables for the declaration of employment income. The first table of the Schedule 1 just to declare the current employment income, both primary and secondary. And the second table for the Schedule 1 to declare the terminal benefits from the primary employment and the secondary employment. And the next table to declare the exempt income from the employment. So this is the format of Schedule 1, and we'll move to the Schedule 2. Schedule 2 for the business income declaration, there are basically three sub-tables. Table A of the Schedule 2, the business income from sole proprietorship. If the individual taxpayer do have sole proprietorship business, such income which the taxpayer received through the sole proprietorship business has to be declared under the Table A. Table B to declare the business income from the partnership, and Table C to declare the business income from the trust. And the latter part of the Schedule 2 just to declare the exempted business income. Here you have to declare the exempted business income. And Schedule 3, investment income schedule, you have to declare the income that you received through the investment And it also divided into three basic tables. Table A, investment income. That means investment made by the individual individually. And the table B to declare the investment income received from the partnership. Table C to declare the investment income received from the trust. So likewise, you have to enter the investment income here, and the rent relief, you can claim the rent relief under case number 316. It has to be limited to 25% of total rent income. And the final part of the schedule 3 to declare the exempt amount, exempted investment income. And the next schedule is the schedule 4. Schedule 4 to declare the income from other source of income. Other source of income means actually income not refer to the business income, employment income, or the investment income. If you have any other income, you have to declare that under the schedule 4. The schedule 5 to declare the qualifying payment and expenditure relief. As you know, under the Act number 24 of 2017, 3 different type of qualifying payment are allowed. First one, donation made to approved charity, and donation made to the government, and donation made to the specified institution. Such donation can be declared under the Schedule 5A, and Schedule 5B to declare the qualifying payment which is brought forward from the previous Inland Revenue Act. That means Act number 10 of 2006. If any taxpayer, if any individual do have this kind of brought forward qualifying payment from the previous act, you can declare that brought forward amount and deductible amount under Schedule 5B. Schedule 5C to declare the expenditure relief. This is newly introduced section to the income tax return for 2021. Under the expenditure relief, health expenditure and the educational expenditure, interest paid on housing loans, and contribution made to the local pension schemes, and the expenditure incurred on purchase of share. Such kind of expenditure can be allowed up to the limitation of 1.2 million. So those details can be entered under the Schedule 5. Schedule 6 to declare the WHT on final withholding payment. In case the taxpayer do have final withholding payment and which is deducted by the withholding agent or not deducted by the withholding agent, such information has to be declared under the Schedule 5A and Schedule 5B, Schedule 6A and Schedule 6B of the Schedule 6. And Schedule 7 to declare the advance income tax AIT or WHT withholding tax payment or deducted by the withholding agent, and the withholding tax failed to deduct by withholding agent, and the AIT from partnership. Those details, those type of tax credit detail has to be entered under the Schedule 7. Schedule 8 is the tax calculation schedule. Here you have to distribute the taxable income among the different sources and different tax rates to calculate the tax liability. Basically, taxpayer has to enter and distribute the taxable income based on the appropriate tax rates, and then has to calculate the tax liability as well. This is the purpose of Schedule 8. Schedule 9 to declare the tax credit. What are the available tax credit? There are several type of tax credit. Whatever the relevant tax credit amount can be entered here. Maybe foreign tax credit, ESC deductible amount, ESC credit, APIT credit, or the tax on terminal benefit, partner's share of income tax, AIT from partnership, capital gain tax payment, or installment tax payment. So the applicable tax credit amount can be declared under the Schedule 9. And there are subschedules as well to declare the further details related to the tax credit. One subschedule for ESC, and one subschedule for partnership tax payment, and the final subschedule for the installment payment. And the Schedule 10, the final schedules of the 2021 return, is to declare the loss adjustment Here you have to declare the previous brought forward loss amount and current year loss, and further you have to declare the way you deduct the loss against the profit and income during this year of assessment. And the next part of the return, as we already discussed, there are three different parts of the return: main return, schedules, and statement of asset and liability. This is the statement of asset and liability. Here you have to declare the movable properties, immovable properties, bank balances, share, stock and security details, and cash in hand detail. And the properties held as a part of the business, those information related to the asset you have to declare, and thereafter you have to declare the liabilities. According to the given tables, certain details has to be entered here, and at the end of the statement of asset and liability, you have to fill the declaration as well. If you wish to submit the manual return, e-filing will be a little bit different. The declaration part will be little bit different. We'll see how to do the e-filing. Now, once the taxpayer wish to submit the return through the e-filing, first taxpayer has to log into the IRD e-service. How to navigate to the IRD e-service login? First, you have to open the Inland Revenue web page using the web address www.ird.gov.lk. Once you open the web page, you can see here there is a URL for the e-service. By click on that URL, you can have the access to e-service, and then you have to click on the access to e-service. After you access to the e-service, you can have this kind of user interface. Several functions you can. This will help to do the several functions. First thing, you can do the taxpayer registration. If you are not the registered taxpayer, you can do the registration request from this access to e-service login. Here is the way you have to do the request. First, you have to fill the registration type. If you are an individual local, you have to select the individual local, and then you have to enter the requested detail here. As you can see here, some details are mandatory, so make sure to fill all these mandatory field correctly, and the other information as well. Then you can, after filling the form, you can submit that form to make the request. The next function that you can do here, you can make the PIN request. You know, the PIN is the password. Actually, PIN is the password to log into your IRD account. So once you are, if you are a registered taxpayer, you can make a PIN request. Those information you have to be entered to request the PIN, and after you submit the request, the PIN will be mailed to you through the email or through the post. And further, you can do the authorization of staff, basically for the companies and partnership, and verify authenticities of the certificate. Those are the other available functions with the IRD e-service. Those are the preliminary functions. Now we are going to move the basic function of e-filing. How to initiate the e-filing? First, you have to select what is your profile: individual taxpayer, corporate or partnership taxpayer, and tax agent. If you are an individual taxpayer, if you are going to submit the IIT return, you have to click on the individual taxpayer and click the proceed to login. Then you will receive this kind of interface. At this interface, you have to enter your tax reference number, that means TIN number. You have to select the TIN number and you have to enter the TIN number, and your IRD PIN. You have to enter, and then you have to enter the captcha here just to verify verification purpose, and then you have to click on login. If the IRD PIN and your TIN is correct, you will be logged to the relevant account. Since we don't have access from the production, we will show you how to open the individual e-filing page through our testing environment. This is almost same as the production interface. So here we enter the TIN number and we enter the PIN number. Thereafter we enter this CAPTCHA as well. Then we click on login. Yeah. Now you are logging to the your IRD account. Here you have to select the return and schedule management. From the return and schedule management, there will be a drop down. From that drop down, you have to select individual income tax. Once you click on individual income tax, it will move to the another user interface. Here is the interface. Here you can see your taxpayer identification number and name. And now from this year, there are 3 year of assessment is open to e-filing, 19, 20 and 2021. If you are already submit the 1920 tax return, the status will be submitted. If not, it will be new. And if you are in 2021, it has to be new or draft based on the your status. The draft means you have entered certain amount of data, but did not submit it. Here, what you have to do is you have to select the 2021, since we are going to submit the 2021 return. So see that in this case, 1920 has not been submitted. That is why the status is new. So we have added certain amount of data for 2021. That is why it is stated is draft. So even no matter whether it is new or draft, we can proceed. So we proceed the draft one. Once you click on the proceed button, the system will move to the IIT income tax return e-filing UI. Now the return is open. As we discussed in the manual return, this e-filing returns also consisted with the main return and the schedules, main returns, schedules, and the statement of asset and liability. This is the main return. The main return first part, part A, income tax income liable to tax. The 4 sources here: employment income, business income, investment income, and other income. And there are URL to directly open the respective schedules as well. The URL is you can identify the URL which is in blue color within bracket. And this is the second part, part B, deduction from the assessable income. Certain relief, qualifying payment, and expenditure relief, personal relief are there. The one thing is important is you can see other than the cage number 80, all the other cages are gray in color. That means all the other cages except cage number 30 all are disabled to taxpayer. You can't enter any amount other than cage number 80. Only you can do is you can enter the personal relief here. So in order to enter the data for the other text boxes, you have to open the relevant schedule and you have to enter the data relevant schedule. Then system automatically populate or transfer that details to the main return. So there are different schedules and hyperlinks to those schedules. and hyperlink to the statement of asset and liability as well. And this is the part C. Part C, just to do the tax calculation part. Tax calculate based on the different type of taxing sources. Tax on terminal benefit, tax on realization of investment asset, tax on balance taxable income, tax on final withholding payment, WHT not deducted by withholding agent, likewise different sources. And then system calculate the total tax liability. From the total tax liability, system deduct the tax credit to calculate the balance payable amount or the refundable amount. So the last part of the main return to exempt income, the part D, exempt income will populate under the part D of the main return. The data is already there because we have already added some data in respective schedules. That is why some data is here. If you log in first time into this return, there will not be any data in the main return.
Schedule 1 is required to enter the employment income. From the, it means all the remuneration and terminal benefits you have got. You can deduct any exclude amount if you have. In Schedule 1, you need to enter the detail of employment income. The first table is the employment type. It's may primary employment or secondary employment. Next, employer or company name, then TIN of taxpayer, then remuneration. You can use the text boxes provided the below on the table. At cage 101, you can select primary employment. Then you can enter the employer or company. 103 is required to enter TIN of the employer. Please enter correct TIN because it is very helpful to give a pay credit or advance income tax APIT credit to the individual person. Therefore, please you need to enter correct TIN number. And you can enter the remuneration amount in 104. Then click on add button. The record will be added to the respective table table of part 1. Then in this taxpayer has the secondary employment remuneration also, and here select the secondary employment from the drop down list and enter the company name, then enter TIN number, then remuneration for cage 104. After entering the records, you can click on add. The table 2, you require to enter the terminal benefits. It also asks type of the employment and employer company name, TIN of the employer and terminal benefits. It is similar as the table 1. You can enter the data from the cage 106, 107, 108 and 109. Select the employment type, primary or secondary, then name of the company in 107. TIN of the employer who give the terminal benefits to you, then terminal benefits amount. Then click on add. The total of this table will be calculated 111 kg automatically, and you cannot enter the total as it is disabled. If you face any problem in total, you can ask IRD help. In this, taxpayer has another record in secondary employment for terminal benefits. He enter the data, enter terminal benefits amount, and click on add, and record will be added to the table 2. The part 2 of the schedule 1 is employment income, which is exempt amount. If you have any exempt receipt, you can enter such detail in here. Some list of exempt amount are provided in Annexure 2 in the IRD, the user guide published in the IRD website. You can follow that user guide too in preparing income tax return. In this point, ask type of exempt income. It is primary employment or secondary, then TIN or name of the employer, and amount which is exempt. As similar, enter the data and click on add, then record will be added to the part 2. Total of part 2, the whole total of exempt cages values will pop up to 210 of the main return, and 111 will pop up to cage 10. If you wish, if mistakenly, if you add any error record, you can make amendment as well as you can remove it. Such facilities available there. For the amendment, you need to click on the hyperlink provided on the employment type. It's blue color. You can click on that, and then in this error record is entered. You can click on the link and make relevant amendment and click on update button. The record will be updated. If it is not relevant or invalid record, you can click on the checkbox provided in front of the record and select record and click on remove button. Record will be deleted from the table. Then you can move to the next schedule, click on next, and the record will be saved draft. The schedule 2 is individual income for the business income. You can enter your sole proprietorship business income as well as share of partnership. Part 1, detail of business income. The table A, you need to declare the business income from sole proprietorship. It asks activity code, nature of the business, and gain and profit you received. You can select your activity code at 201 for the relevant activity code. If you don't have, or if you are unable to find such activity code, you can select 6 zeros. But you remember, please update your profile with correct activity code later. This facility is provided only for submitting the return. Then name of nature of the business, what type of business you conducted, then enter the gain and profit in K203. All record will be added to the table once you click add, and total will be auto calculated by the system. The part B is partners business income from partnership. It also you can select the activity code of the partnership conducted business. Then enter partnership name in 206. In 207, TIN of partnership. In this place also provide correct TIN number because it is very helpful to get the partnership credit from respect to partnership file. Then you can add that record, and record will be added to the table and totals automatically calculated by the system. If you wish to update record, you can click on the link and you can update, as well as you can remove the selected record. Then part C is beneficiary business income from trust, unit trust. You can enter the trust income, the share of trust income to this table, part C table. Then select activity code, then enter the trust name, then TIN of trust, and gain and profit in cage 213. Total business income will be calculated 215 by the system automatically, and this amount will be populated in main return in cage 20 of main return. Part 3 is business income exempt gain and profit. It is just a text box. You can enter the value here. It will be saved, and the total exempt income in each schedule will be added to the main return. Then you can click on next button. The record will be saved as draft. Once you click on back button, it will navigate to the previous schedule file, schedule page. Then click. Hiran, can you explain the schedule 3?
Yeah. Okay. Now we are in the schedule 3. Schedule 3 is for to declare the investment income of the taxpayer. As schedule 2, this schedule 3 also divided into basically 3 tables. The first tables to enter the individual investment income, and the second schedule, the second table of the schedule 3 to enter the partnership investment income. That means the taxpayer received investment income through the partnership, and the third table to declare the investment income received through the trust. Likewise, it is almost same as the schedule 2. The difference is here you have to enter the investment income. So the data entering process is almost same as the schedule 2. To enter the data for the respective tables, you have to use the text boxes just below the particular table. Here also you have to enter the activity code. Activity code refers to the particular investment income. As an example, if particular employment, so if that particular investment income refers to the rent, then you have to select the activity code relevant to the rent income. likewise, you have to select the activity code, then you have to enter the type of investment income and the amount for the table 1, table A, table 2, table B. What you have to do is you have to select the activity code of the particular partnership, refer to the relevant investment income, and then you have to enter the partnership TIN number, and then you have to enter the partnership name and the amount. So likewise, you have to enter the data for the table 3 as well. We have entered the data by using those text boxes, and then the part B of the schedule 3 is referred to the relief. So here you have to declare what is the, if you do have rent income, refer to that rent income, you can deduct 25% of that rent income as a rent relief. That amount has to be entered under the cage number 316 of the return. And I have to remember that here also the data entering process is almost same. You have to enter the data particular text boxes, and then you have to click that button. And the option that update and remove option is already available for these schedules as well. Finally, you have to enter the XM amount, and after complete the schedule, you can click the save draft button to store the data until you submit the return, or you can click on the next button. Both buttons, even you click the next button, data will be saved until you submit the return. So by entering the next button, we move to the schedule 4. Schedule 4 is to declare the other income. That means if taxpayer do have income other than the employment, business or investment, such income have to declare under the schedule 4. As an example, some gift that particular person received or something like that, you can declare under the schedule 4. So schedule 4, it's comparatively simple schedule. Only one table is there. What you have to do is you have to enter the details regards to the other income on the below cages, and then you have to click that button. Here also you can do the you can remove the transaction, you can update the transaction using the upgrade and remove buttons. That option is available for the schedule 4 as well. And once you complete the data entering part, you can click the save draft, or you can click the next button to save the data. And using the next button, you can move to the schedule 5. Schedule 5. Now we are in the schedule 5. Schedule 5 is basically to declare the qualifying payment and expenditure relief. Here you can see the first part of the schedule 5 to the qualifying payment as per the Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2017. Under that act, you can declare the 3 different type of qualifying payment: the payment for approved charity, and the payment donation to approved charity, donation to the government, and donation made to the specified institution. When you are entering the donation to approved charity, as you already know, there is a limitation. The amount that you can claim under the donation to approved charity will be limited to 75,000 rupees, or 1/3 of the taxable income. Based on that restriction, you have to enter the data for the particular schedules. If you once you try to enter something more than the said limit, the system will pop up the error message. Then according to the error message, you have to correct the declared deductible amount of donation made to the approved charity. And the total will be calculated by the system. And the part B of the schedule 5, it is to declare the qualifying payment refer to the Act number 10 of 2009, Inland Revenue Act number 10 of 2009. Here, as per the section 35 of the said Act, there are different type of qualifying payment. If particular taxpayer do have brought forward qualifying payment from the previous year, you can declare that amount, the brought forward amount and the deductible amount you have to declare under the case numbers of 506 and 507, and then the carry forward balance will be calculated by the system itself. And part C of the schedule 5, this is to declare the expenditure relief. Expenditure relief has been categorized under the 5 different segments: health and health expenditure, and education and vocational training expenditure, and the interest paid on the housing loans, and likewise there are 5 different segments. Based on this segment, you have to declare the appropriate amount of expenditures as well. But make sure the total deductible amount under the expenditure relief will be restricted to the 1.2 million. So the maximum amount that you can claim under this expenditure relief will be restricted to 1.2 million, or the whatever the assessable income that the particular taxpayer do have, whichever is lower, is the amount that you can claim here. After you finish the data entering part, again, as the previous schedules, what you have to do is you have to click the save draft button, or you can click the next button to move to the next schedule. So now we are in the schedule 6. Schedule 6 to enter the taxpayers tax credit. Actually, this is a tax credit and tax credit schedule. Basically, schedule 6 is the schedule for the WHT, for the final WHT payment. There are the first schedule, what you have to do is you have to enter the final withholding payment details. As you can see here, final withholding details, by click on the blue color radio button, you can have more information what is requested under this particular schedule. So then there is a table to enter the details. As the previous schedules 1, 2, and 3, here also you have to use the below text boxes to enter the data for this particular table. You have to enter the first you have to enter the type, and then you have to enter the withholding agent's TIN number, and then you have to enter the withholding certificate number, then amount received, then you have to enter the WHT paid by the withholding agent and the date of payment. Those details you have to enter, and then you have to click the add button. Here you can enter up to 50 transaction. If you do have 50 transaction up to that level, you can enter here. And the table B of the schedule 6 is the final withholding payment, withholding withholding failed to deduct by withholding agent. So the first schedule, the withholding has been already deducted by the withholding agent, but the second table is allocated to declare the withholding final withholding liable income, but withholding agent has not been deducted the relevant withholding amount. So here also you have to enter the data using the text boxes mentioned under the case number 9060926613. Under that you have to enter the source and the type and the rest of the details requested in this particular table, and you have to add the data to the table using the add button. And further, it is please remember that here also you can do the updation and the removal part using the update and remove button. And once you enter the data, system automatically calculate the total, and here that the total of 614 will goes to the schedule 8 for the tax liability calculation. And now you can see how we are going to remove the data and update the data. And after you finish the data entering process, you can click the next button to move to the schedule 7. Schedule 7 is the withholding tax schedule or the AIT schedule. Basically, this is the non-final withholding tax, declaration of non-final withholding tax. That is the difference between Schedule 6 and Schedule 7. Under the Schedule 7, first table A for the withholding tax, WHTO, advance income tax, AIT, which is already deducted by the withholding agent. Such withholding and AIT relevant data you have to declare under the table 1 of Schedule 7. There are several information you have to enter. Make sure while you are entering the data to enter the exact the correct withholding agent TIN number and withholding certificate number and the amount details. That is very important because we allow those withholding or AIT credit after processing those data with the respective withholding agent schedules and statement. So if there is any difference between withholding agent data and the taxpayers data, it will be difficult to identify the exact amount of withholding credit. To mitigate that issues, make sure to enter the correct withholding agent TIN number and the certificate number and the amount here. Here also you have to enter the data to the white color text boxes. Then the totals and total will be calculated by the system itself. And important thing is you have to enter the amount declared, amount claimed for the year 2021. Also, you taxpayer has to be claimed under the case number 710. Here also that you can do the amendment to the data that you have already entered using the update button and the remove button. And once you finish the table A, you can move to the table B. Table B is allocated to the withholding tax, which is withholding tax which the withholding agent has not been deducted, or withholding agent has not been paid to the Inland Revenue Department. So that data has to be entered under the Schedule 7 Part B, Table B. So as you can see here, you can have more information by click on the blue color radio button. And here also you have to enter the several details as the source of WHTO AIT and type and the date of received, amount received, date of payment, and WHT paid by the withholdee. Not the withholding agent, WHT paid by the, if the particular taxpayer, that means you, if you have paid any amount of WHT, such amount has to be declared under case 717. And also you can see there are white color text boxes as well as gray color text boxes. To all the white color text boxes, you have to enter the data. Then the total will be calculated by the system, and such total will populate to the gray color text boxes. Here also you can add up to 50 number of transaction using the add button. So we already enter one transaction details into the table, and now you can see we are entering the second transaction details. We enter the type, and using that calendar option, we can put the date of the received and amount received, and the date of payment. Again, we use the calendar here. We can select the date using the calendar, and the WHT paid by withhold D. If any amount paid by the withhold D, we can enter that figure as well. Then we have to click that button. Then that will goes to the table, and the total will be corrected according to the number of transaction entered to the table. So likewise, you have to complete that table. And the part C of the schedule 7 to declare the WHT or AIT credit received from the partnership. Here, the taxpayer has to enter the total AIT and other detail which is requested by the schedule, and then after doing all these things, what you have to do is you have to click the next button or the save draft button, and both this button will store the data that you have entered to the system until you submit the return. So now after click on next button, you will move to the schedule 8. Schedule 8 will explain by Mr. Gamage.
Schedule 8 is a tax calculation schedule. The schedule is comprises 6 parts. First part is the enter taxable income from cage 120 of main return. It will auto populated from the main return. Part B is tax calculation on the terminal benefits. If you have any terminal benefits, retirement receipt or consumption compensation receipt, that terminal benefit should tax under part B. According to the current law in 2021, 10 million terminal benefit is taxed at 0 rated. Then balance is taxed at 6%.
It's 10 million. Next 10.
Yeah. The balance 10 million tax at 6%, and more than that, that balance tax at 12%. You can declare that terminal benefits in part B. A tax will be auto calculated based on the respective tax rates. In this case, the taxpayer has a 1.3 million terminal benefit, 350 terminal benefit. As the 0 rated limit is 10 million, this entire amount is taxed at 0 rated and no tax liability in this case. Part C is tax on gain on realization of investment asset. If you enter any capital gain receipt in schedule 3 as an investment income, you need to enter that capital gain income in this case 806.1. The tax rate is 10%. We'll see the schedule 10. In this case, we wish to add one record for the capital gain. Then after entering the capital gain income, we will add it to the schedule 8. Now we are in the schedule 3. It will enter the capital gain receipt. This is related to the disposal of shares. Then select the activity code and enter the type of income. It is capital gain. Then enter the gain amount in cage 303. And next, and click on add and record will be added here. Then we can click on save draft. Then click cancel and navigate to the main return and we click on the schedule 8 link and you can move to the schedule 8 tab. That the taxable income is updated as per the main return in 120 cage 120. Previously it is 11 million. Now it is updated at 13 million and some amount. And you need to distribute this total taxable income from part B to part F. We in cage 100 without distributing correctly, if you click on next, the error message will be displayed again. Please distribute this taxable income among these sections. Then we check how to calculate the and how to distribute, because we paste the total taxable income here. Then we already calculated for the terminal benefits. We can reduce it. Balance taxable income is 12.5 million. Then we can enter the terminal benefit, capital gain amount, which is 2 million, which is entered in schedule 3. We can deduct such amount from the taxable income. The balance income is 10.5 million, 595. 10 million, 0.595. That amount we can distribute on the taxable income in progressive rate in part E. First slab is 3 million. Then second slab is 3 million. Balance is tax at 12.8.
Yeah.
First two slab we deduct first two slab. Balance is 4.595. It is taxed at 18%. First 3 million 6%. Second 3 million 12%. Balance is 18%. Tax will be auto calculated and total tax liability will be calculated at cage 810. Part F is tax on final withholding payment. It will be auto populated from schedule 6. Yeah. After click on next, we will move to the schedule 9. It is tax credit schedule. Cage 901 is foreign tax credit. If you are entitled to any foreign tax credit as set out in the section 80 of IR Act, you can enter that foreign tax credit amount in cage 901. Case 902 is disabled and you cannot enter. You need to use subschedule, ESC credit subschedule to enter ESC credit value. It is 9A, schedule 9A. If you have any undeducted ESC credit, unclaimed ESC credit from 2018, 2019 or 2019 or 2020, you can enter such amounts in this text box. In this case, taxpayer has some information and some brought forward credit, undeducted credit. He can enter in the text box and it will be auto populated in case 902. Any ESC credit, balance ESC credit from partnership, you can enter 916 or 917 based on the respective year of assessment. And total will be added to the table. The next one is 903A, 903B, 903C. It is related to the APIT, similar to pay tax credit. It's sometime it's primary employment, secondary employment. Likewise, you can enter from that cases, and based on the if you have a multiple primary employment, you can enter the uses such cases 9.3A to 9.3C. If you have any APIT credit or pay credit in secondary employment, it should be declared 904A to 904C. Then tax paid for terminal benefits. If you paid any tax on terminal benefits, you can mention it in 905. (906) is partner share of partnership tax. It will be come from the subschedule 9B. You need to enter the values there. It asks balance partner share of partnership tax brought forward from 1920. Then partner share of the current year, it means 2021. You can use the text boxes provided and you can enter the values in text boxes and total auto calculate. In this point, taxpayer has some brought forward credit from the partnership and as well as current year share of tax, partnership tax. Total will be calculated 9 to 4, and in 9 to 5 you can enter the credit amount which you claim in current year. In this case, taxpayer claim entire amount and there is no carry forward amount. And the claim amount will be added to the case 906. Then 907 is AIT, advance income tax paid on partnership. If you want to check the values, you can click on save draft. You can see the amount in AIT from partnership. That amount will be declared in Schedule 9. The advance income tax credit on Schedule 7, some withholding credit, it will be come from Schedule 7. We can see the Schedule 7 the amount in KH 110 withholding deducted for the respect current year, in this case 27,500, it will be automatically added to the KH 907. (909) is CGT credit. If you pay any tax for the realization of investment asset on capital gain, you need to enter the paid amount in K 909. 9010 is capital gain tax paid by share of capital gain tax paid by partnership. If you paid any amount, you need to enter 910. 911, it is that disabled. It will be come from Schedule 9C. In first installment, second installment, third installment, fourth installment, and final payment you can enter. There is a calendar tool. You can select the date of payment, and selected date will be added to the box. And respect to payment, you need to enter the tax paid column in respect to tax boxes. In this case, taxpayer paid the fourth installment also, and taxpayer can enter here. It is 500,000. Then final payment, he paid 28 September in 2021. Select the date, then enter the final payment amount. Total will be auto calculated in 932, and total installment is 1.2 million. It will be added to the KH 911. Total tax credit will be auto calculated in 912. After entering all data, you can click on Save Draft to save, and you can further verify, as well as you can click on Next and system navigate to the next schedule, Schedule 10. Schedule 10 is loss schedule. Mr. Hira, you can explain.
Yeah, now we are in the Schedule 10. Schedule 10 is to declare the loss adjustment made to the assessable income. Basically, those who have business losses, investment losses, and exempted losses, that detail can be entered here. But remember that this schedule data will not be validate with any other schedules of this particular return. So therefore, make sure to enter the correct figures under the loss schedule. There are several tables under the Schedule 10. The Part 1A. Here, what you have to do is you have to enter the details refer to the losses for year of assessment 2020-21. Basically, you have to declare the losses based on the source of income and the rate. If you take the business income, there are 40% tax rate and progressive rate. So what is the loss that the person incurred from the 40% tax rate business income, and what is the loss that person incurred from the progressive tax rate businesses? Have to enter separately, and thereafter you have to enter the investment related losses and the other losses as well. And then schedule Part B. Part B is to declare how to deduct the losses, the different type of losses from the income. Here you have to Part B is to business losses for progressive tax rate. So since it is business losses from progressive taxes, you know that that such losses cannot be deducted against the business profit from 40% tax rate. So here you can't see the progress 40% tax rate business income cage here. That losses can be deducted against the progressive tax rate business income, investment income, capital gain, and the exempted income as well. And if you go to the next table, the investment losses cannot be deducted against the business profit. So therefore, at the moment we are still entering the data for the table 1B. You can see the data entering process is almost same. What you have to do is you have to enter the data to the text boxes and then click the add button. So likewise, we move to the investment losses. Here you have to enter the year of assessment and the loss amount for the brought forward and the current year loss amount from the investment income, the source of investment, and then you have to deduct the loss against the investment income or the exempt income or the other type of income excluding the business income. And then the part 3 to the exempt income. So exempt income can be deducted only against the exempt losses. Exempt losses can be deducted only against the exempt income. Therefore, you have to enter such details here. So once you finish the data entering part, you can click the next button. Once you click the next button, data will be saved and you will be moved to the next schedule. Actually, this is the statement of asset and liability. This is a mandatory document all the taxpayers has to submit with their return. So basically, under this statement of asset and liability, taxpayers has to declare the movable properties related data and immovable properties related data. The difference is, as you can see here, there is no text boxes below the tables. So once you need the table, once you need the enter the data to the table, you need to open this sort of pop-up box. So after open the pop-up box, you have to enter the data. Here you have to enter the situation of property, date of acquisition, cost, and the market value. Likewise, different data will be requested under the different type of table. You have to click those data and you have to enter those data and you have to click on add button. Once you click that button, data will move to the particular respective table. Likewise, you can enter the movable properties as well. You have to first open the pop-up box, the text box table. Then you have to enter the data and click on the add button. Then it will be goes to the particular table. Likewise, you have to enter the movable properties details. Here we are entering the details, and you can enter the description. Then you can enter the registration number. Then you can enter the date of acquisition, and then you can enter the cost of market cost of the particular movable property, basically the vehicles. So here we enter and then we click that button. Then that data will move to the statement of asset and liability. Likewise, you have to enter the other details, stock details the taxpayer do have. Under that, you have to enter the name of the bank and the amount invested and the interest and the balance amount. Likewise, different data will be requested for the each table. So the data entering process is little bit different to the schedule 1, 2, 3 and the most of the schedules under the main return. Here you have to first you have to open the pop-up box and then you have to enter the data. As we are showing to you right now, you have to enter the data for this particular pop-up box and click on the add button. And likewise, we enter the different kind of details here. The shares, this is refers to the shares. You can see we are entering the data refers to the shares. Relevant information you have to enter. And finally, after entering the data for the particular text boxes, you have to click the add button, then it will be moved. And further, you can enter the cash in hand and such other details directly into those text boxes. There is no separate pop-up box to enter the data for these 3 text boxes. Directly you can enter the data using the keyboard. Then then you have to enter the details on property sales. If you taxpayer has sold any property within the year of assessment, such details has to be entered here. Again, you have to open the pop-up box and you can enter the data to the pop-up box text boxes and can add the details to the main statement of asset and liability using the add button. Under that, you have to enter the name of the name of the invoices and kind of information you have to enter. Then finally you have to declare the details refers to the liabilities. So several tables are there under the category of liability. So such details you can enter here. So you can see once you click on the add button, you will receive this kind of pop-up box. You have to enter the data, the requested details to the pop-up box, and then you can enter the liability related information to the statement of asset and liability. Here you have to enter the description of liability and security on liability and the date of commencement of the liability and the origin of liability, and likewise different details you can enter here. And after you enter all the data, you can click on that button. So make sure and remember, you can, if you do have several transactions, several type of liabilities and several type of asset, you can add the several rows. By clicking on the add row button, you can open several number of pop-up boxes, and based on the pop-up boxes and using those pop-up boxes, more than one record you can add here. As an example, if you do have 10 different type of movable or immovable asset, you have to click on the 10 times on the add row under the particular table, then 10 different type of record you can add it. So likewise, we are in the process of adding the liabilities to the statement of asset and liability. So different type of liabilities details you can add here, and now we are declaring the disposal of asset related relating details we are entering here. Okay, now we are entering the relevant detail. Once you click on that one, that data goes to the particular table. So we complete the statement of asset and liability. Then we first save draft the details, and once you click on the next button, we'll move to the declaration part. It will be explained by Mr. Gamagi.
Declaration part. Where the return or part of the return, if it is filled by any approved account or any other person, taxpayer required to enter the information of that person in part A. In part B, need to enter the information of taxpayer in individual taxpayer. In this case, please enter the correct details, contact details and email, because it will help to contact you. Mainly this, the current situation is pandemic situation, that email details is very helpful to communicate the taxpayers. Therefore, please add correct email and correct contact numbers. After fill the declaration part, then this declaration part is mandatory part. After fill, you can click on next. Then it will navigate to the confirmation page, model confirmation page. This confirmation page, you need to verify carefully each and every figures entered into schedules and main return, because this is the point. This is like a hard copy of the return. You can check each and every place if it is correct or not. If there is any incorrect data, you can click on amend button, which is provided bottom of the confirmation page. It will move to main return and schedules. You can make any modification in that schedule templates or main return. You can go to part by part of the confirmation page, and after confirm the amount, you also can make a printout. If you wish to upload any relevant document, some related supporting document, you can click on now and you can add such information here. In first part, you need to select what are the supporting document required or mandatory to submit with the return. As well as for the second part is provided for the verification of uploading. You can select what are the document uploaded Now you can select here and you can upload them. In this case, four type of documents are selected and the taxpayer wish to submit. In upload document, under the upload document, you need to select the document type and sub-document type. In this case, supporting document, and then wish to upload the statement of accounts. It shows as with effect from 1890. You can select it and click on select file, and from the open dialog box, the next one is T-test certificate. Click on select file, then select the T-test certificate scan copy, and you can add the such record will be added to the list of the upload document. Then select tax computation, click on select file button, select the tax computation sheet and click on open. It will be added to the list. Next one, withholding certificate. You can select the withholding certificate option, select the withholding certificate details and add. Then click on save. After click on acknowledgement that some network issues happen at that point, and then system will go to the confirmation page. In the bottom of the confirmation page, there are options to amend the record. If there is any mistake, you can click on amend button and you can click on respect to schedule link, and you can make the corrections and you can save it or go to the next step. Is there any additional record to remove or amend the record? You can make the corrections and click update and save draft. As explained, you cannot make any changes in the confirmation page. You need to check, click on amend button and come to the relevant schedule and make the corrections. After make corrections, you can go to the confirmation page to submit the return. In this case, necessary correction has been made and save as draft. Then click on cancel and come to the main return and click on the asset and liability link. Then go to the next page. Then it will come to confirmation page again. After make correction, you can make a printout. You can get a printout. If you don't have any printer to set the computer, connect to the computer, but you can make a PDF print. You can click on print button, then select the PDF printer option and click on print. The document can be saved as PDF document. Then select the folder you need to save that PDF document and give the file name for that. In this case, IIT 2021 return copy. Then click on save and return copy will be saved to the selected folder. Then you can click on submit. That part we will explain in next return. In this case, we will choose the nil return submission nil return to show the confirmation page and acknowledgement. In this time, as we explained earlier, the individual taxpayer click on personal tax matters and click login. If taxpayer login first time, he need to make his own PIN for the IRD PIN. In this case, first time enter the IRD PIN and then enter the data, the text captcha and click on login. Then system will move to the correction of own PIN. In this point, you need to enter the current PIN, which is provided by IRD department. Then you can enter new PIN as you wish. It is alphanumeric value and 8 characters. Symbols are not allowed in this place. And confirm the new PIN. For the next time login, you need to use this password which you change. Then click on save and confirm it. Then you can go to the return and schedule management and select individual income tax from the drop down menu. In this case, I select 2021, then click on proceed. That schedule creation and other steps we have already explained. Then we will move to the end of the part of the return. After fill the declaration part, then click on next and it will move to the confirmation page. At the confirmation page, you can verify all the documents and all the information. Then come to the bottom of the page and you can click on submit button. Once you click on submit button, it asks to upload document. I wish to upload the document later, then I select later and click on submit. Then confirm the OK button. Then system generate the temporary acknowledgement, provisional acknowledgement, that you can print it by clicking on print button. This acknowledgement also can save as we saved the return previously. You can select the folder and give the name for the acknowledgement. In this case, I enter the acknowledgement 2 and you can click save. Then close. That return will be updated as status will be updated as submitted. Then clearly log out from the e-service system. We will explain how to submit the return. You can make question and answer. We finished the how to submit the return.
Now the chat box is open for the questions. If you do have a question, just type your question in the chat box.
One question asked Mr. Hiran, under investment income, do we need to include the interest received for NRFC account? And IRD office said no need. Please clarify the due payment to IRD for 2021 is made. However, I found a mistake in the due amount calculation later. How to correct it? I have not added an interest received from the fixed bank account under the investment income?
Yeah, there's a question relevant to the NRFC account interest. The first thing here we need to clarify whether this NRFC account interest is exempted or not. Since it is exempt, you can declare that income under the exempt income of the Schedule 3. So I think once you declare that income under the exempt income, there is no tax calculation on the exempt income. It says the person has errorly calculated the liability and have not added interest income from the fixed bank account under the investment income. If you error, I think you are not still submit the return. What you can do is you can declare that income under the exempt income for the Schedule 3. And so once you calculate the tax liability, it will not come to the taxable income. If you enter the amount under the exempt income, it will not calculated for the taxable income calculation. But if you do have any liable interest income tax liable interest income, what you have to do is you have to declare that interest income under the Schedule 3. And you have to calculate the tax liability under the Schedule 8 on that income using the progressive tax rate, and you have to pay the tax accordingly. But the first thing you have to do is you have to make sure whether it is a exempted income or not.
Another thing is, if you fail to submit the complete amount, you can make amended return also. If the first submitted return is incorrect, you can make request to amend the return. The provision is available in the new IR Act for the amended return.
The question asks, how should I register to submit income tax return online? According to the question, it means the person need to register for income tax purpose. There is no need to any special registration for online submission. First, you have to need to register as an individual income taxpayer. You can use the IRD e-service web portal to register, to make a request as a register. To make a request as a register as an individual income taxpayer, first you have to log to the IRD web portal and go for the e-service, and there is a hyperlink to the taxpayer registration. So you have to click on that hyperlink, and after that it will ask several questions. You have to complete that form and submit the form to the IRD. Then based on the provided information, IRD will register you as a taxpayer. Then thereafter you can submit the return.
Another question, Mr. Iran. If an audit firm is completing the return, how should the declaration be made? Should the name of the firm to be included or partners of name to be included?
If the return is filled by audit firm, the partner's name to be included as a declarant.
Another question, can we submit a PDF for asset and liability without filling cages online?
If you wish to submit the return through the IRD e-service, I mean online return, you have to key the information related to the asset and liabilities.
It is better.
Yeah.
And even you not enough, you can submit the PDF document also.
Yeah.
Next one is, will the date of submit return for year of assessment 2021 extended after 30th November 2021?
it will not be extended after 30th November. According to the up to today, there is no such decision to extend the return due date.
How to upload the supporting document subsequently. For uploading the supporting document subsequently, you can use the document and schedule upload UI. Then you can click the hyperlinks provided for respective tax type. It may, if you registered several tax type, it shows that tax type in the list box. You can click, you can enter the respective period code, and you can upload the document same as at the confirmation page. PIN and SSID, can you email us? Yeah, department already mail that PIN and SSID document, but you need to update your profile. If your correct authorized email is not there, we cannot email you.
There's a question, what is the tax-free allowance for an individual for year of assessment 2021? Yeah, 2021. Yeah, it's 3 million. Now the personal relief is 3 million. And other than that, there are expenditure relief. If you do have the expenditure which is authorized by the IRD, you can claim another 1.2 million.
And also it's cage 80, no?
Yeah.
In main return, cage 80, you can fill the 3 million.
Yeah.
Another question is, are there any source to watch this session again? I missed session which was conducted. This video will be uploaded, recording will be uploaded to the IRD YouTube channel. You can watch it. Another question, if a taxpayer is resident in Sri Lanka only up to middle of year of assessment, remember, can we apportion the tax-free allowance of 3 million?
If the particular taxpayer is resident for that year of assessment in Sri Lanka, he can claim the personal relief. I think no need to proportionate the personal relief. Only thing is to make sure whether this person is resident, then that is enough. No need to proportionate.
Is there any issue is clicking not now button for upload document when submitting nil return? I think no issue. Next question is, what is the time period to amend the initial return submitted? I think from the 30 months from the date of first submission. Can we file amended return online? They are similar to the key in the online main return. That similar facility is not there, but somehow some facility will be available. Submit as a PDF document and with the request to the Commission General.
So even for the individual return, the hard copies are not accepted, or is it only via e-filing we have to submit? There is no such rule for the individual income tax. Both hard copies and e-return will be accepted for the individual income tax return, but it is very much important if you have facility to submit the return via e-filing, try to submit as much as possible through the e-filing method.
One question is, under other income, is the gift received liable to tax? Direct answer is yes. If the price received by person as already made by the President Fund or the Sri Lanka government, it will be exempt. But other gift are liable. If it is relevant to the business income, it should be declared in the under the business income. If it is received to the related to the investment income, it should be declared under investment income. If it does not related business income, employment income, investment income, that receipt you need to enter in the other source of income, and it liable to tax. Can you please explain the loss section? In the loss section, we will share them. In the loss section, there are several parts. One is 40% tax. If the income is liable to 40% tax, if it is loss and if it is taxed at 40%, you need to declare under part IA. You can enter in, you can give the respective year of assessment and you can enter the loss amount in the top of the two text boxes. Then the second part is the deductible loss, distribution of the loss, how to claim that reported loss for the respective income. If the loss is 40%, you can claim it on 40% rate, progressive rate, investment income, capital gain, or exempt income. Or you can claim all sources of income. If it is business loss and relevant to the progressive tax rate, you cannot claim under 40% rate. Other source of income you can claim from the other source of income. If the loss is relevant to the investment income, you can claim only from the investment income, capital gain income, and exempt income. If the loss is exempt loss, you can claim that exempt loss from only exempt income. I think it's clear. One question is asked, if I pay insurance payment of my wife, can I claim expenditure relief for it?
I think you cannot claim the your wife insurance claim expenditure insurance claim insurance payment as a expenditure relief.
Wife is a separate tax
person.
That's why you can. Since
it's that expenditure refers to another person, it cannot be deducted against your income tax liability.
Likewise, your wife education expenses, health expenses, other expenses you cannot claim.
Okay.
Only available expenses is the children's education expenses. Another question is, do we have an employment relief other than the personal relief? No, there's no any relief for the employment income.
Whether the taxpayer is a dual citizen or not, he can claim the personal relief. There's a question: if I received money from relatives, is it taxable or not? That question is not very much clear, but if it is received for the business purpose or the investment purpose or any other purpose, it will be taxed.
If it is gift, if it is tax.
Yeah.